All right, so what we're going to do today is we are going to figure out how to actually get a file ready for 3D printing from Fusion 360. Now, currently we have the way the files are saved within Fusion 360 is that they've got a lot of extra metadata, just additional data that isn't deal with the geometry of the shape. It's got the sketches saved in it, it's got the history saved in it. What we're really interested in is just exporting geometry so we can put it into the printer. So to do this, I'm going to go up to File and 3D Print. And it says it converts the selected body to a mesh body and outputs an STL or a 3D print or to a 3D print utility. We specifically want to do this to an STL because we don't know the print utility that we're going to be using at school or when you send it to me. So we go through here and I have to select the object. So I'm going to click right here and I select that body. When I do that, because Preview Mesh is chosen, I can actually see the entire geometry of how this is done, all the little polygons and the points that make up this shape. If I want to go ahead and make it a finer shape, I can go ahead and go to higher, and it makes more polygons, or I can go to lower and make less. Medium is the perfect setting for what we want right now. And then I make sure that this sent to 3D print utility is unchecked, and I print OK, or choose OK. From here, I need to save it. So I'm going to name this My Meeple and make sure I know where to save it. And now that I've done that, I can go into that folder which is located right here, and find My Meeple. And when I do that, I can actually start opening it up with various applications. For example, if I double click it, my default application is this 3D print within from Microsoft that I can mess around with this. And this allows me to basically do drawing or something like that. But the fact of the matter is we are no longer working with a file that is only usable in Fusion 360. It's usable in other programs. I now go up to Close. I'm not going to save it. And I'm going to open this with a separate program. This separate program is a program that is called Prusa Slicer. This is the slicer that I use for my Prusa 3D printer. And I am going to remove this. All right. Now, just saving the file is enough. And when I ask you for the file, the STL file, you would send that and upload that with your application. But if we want to go a little bit farther, this is how we actually print it out. I go ahead and I add the object, My Meeple, and I open it up. All right, and it is set here, and I can see it's laid out perfectly. Now, there is a challenge though. Sometimes I can actually go ahead and if I open another piece, it's incredibly small. And the reason for this is when I save a file in Fusion 360, and then I export it to a STL, the file just has units in it. For example, this file was supposed to be 1 unit high. We use standard in inches. Most other applications use millimeters. So when this is imported, it is 1 unit high and 1 unit and half a unit thick, but that is now assumed to be millimeters, and that's not actually what we want. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to increase this by a scale factor of 2540, and there are 25.4 millimeters in an inch. So by doing it by the scale factor, this will go ahead and increase it to the right size, and it's prepared to print. Now that I've got this, I can go to Splice. So I go to Splice now, and this generates the G-code. And the G-code is the actual step-by-step instructions, layer per layer, of what this is going to do to actually create this. So if I go ahead and I pull up and down through this slider, I can go ahead and see that each layer is and how it's going to be laid down onto it as it does this printing. Once I'm done with that, I go ahead and I put in a USB drive, save it to the USB drive, and I'm good to go. So that's how you go ahead and save a file for 3D printing.